Alright, this is the introduction to the Walk Like an Investor series. Now, discussion of any CUSIP or security is for discussion purposes only. Do not buy any security mentioned in this playlist unless you performed your due diligence. Note that I purchased shares of Lehman Brothers 3 days before it collapsed, so anyone following me into a trade is taking excessive risk and may lose significant financial value. In addition, at the time of this video, I may or may not own shares of the company mentioned and may or may not have kept those shares depending on what circumstances changed. I have an immediate contempt for sites that talk about whether they own or don't own shares, because that could easily have changed depending on when you read the information on the site. So that's something to note. If I discuss a security, I may or may not already own shares or may have dumped them by the time that you watch it. So in this playlist, CUSIPs are discussed often in the context of what happened in the past. Past performance may not occur in the future or present. And past performance is not a chart of how CUSIPs will move. Or just in general, like commodities, right? I tend to think that the gold to oil ratio is very, informative. Tells me a lot about which one's underpriced or overpriced. But to be fair, that's based on past performance, right? In my opinion, oil is rarer than gold. Or it's not rarer than gold, I shouldn't say that. Oil is going to become rarer than gold in the long run. So I actually expect the gold to oil ratio, historically, this is my expectation, to go down. Because as there will be less and less oil, and as it will become harder and harder to get oil, oil should be more valuable relative to gold in that ratio. Okay? Many of the CUSIPs discussed would be very poor investments, in my opinion. Yet I use these still for informative purposes and may not discuss that they're poor investments. Right? I may be just discussing information. So when I say many of the CUSIPs, could be quite a bit of them. I don't have a problem looking at bad investments. Some people do, I don't. Note that depending on your risk tolerance, you may or may not agree what makes a good investment in the first place, right? I mean, if you like to take risk, if you really get energy from taking risk, and there are a lot of people, by the way, who do, then a good investment to you may be very different than it is to me. Investing is one of the best ways to learn entrepreneurship because only results matter. You can go to the right school, but that doesn't matter. Investing, there are people who go to Harvard and they can't invest worth a darn. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's one of the best ways because results matter. Same thing, you don't go to Walmart and buy products and know, oh, the person who made this product went to Harvard. You don't even care, right? Ultimately, the most successful investors learn that, number one, the long term matters. Number two, what provides great value succeeds. And number three, only results can teach us. Which, if you think about that, as an entrepreneur, long term matters. What provides great value succeeds, and only results can teach us. That's the same thing, no difference. So, people in America like to talk about how their country's great. And what's interesting is if you look at the United States and you look at successful countries in the past or successful empires in the past, what the U.S. has in common with those successful empires is that the hierarchy in America is the entrepreneur has the highest status. And what I mean by that is that the merchant class or the entrepreneur class is the person who is highly respected in our culture. Okay? The investor does not own that position, and the worker does not own that position. Neither does the retiree, would be in this blah. And then the nester does not own that position. Nester is considered to kind of be at the bottom, especially among the millennial generation. We have a contempt for baby boomers because they were nesters. They were incredibly unevolved, right? They hadn't come very far. Entrepreneurs create wealth. They create wealth by lowering the cost of living or maintaining the cost of living while increasing the standard of living. That's the fundamental nature of the entrepreneur. And what I just said, if you're a good investor, that is what you will learn in the long run is what works in investing. Something which lowers the cost of living while increasing or maintaining the standard of living. Or something that maintains the cost of living while increasing the standard of living, right? That's why investing is one of the best ways to learn entrepreneurship. Because as an investor, you begin to learn what sells and what doesn't sell, what works and what doesn't work, what consumers respond to. As a case in point, let me give you an example. Suppose that you came out with a water solution that dropped the monthly cost of water 90%. So the average American who's paying $100 a month in their water bill now pays only $10 a month. Do you think your business would fail? I mean, if I knew that I could get a water bill that's 90% cheaper, I'm going to switch to that company immediately. That's what entrepreneurs do, okay? Another way to be an entrepreneur, this is a simple example, is what engineers build, right? If this bridge didn't exist, you'd have to go all the way around. But this bridge saves you all kinds of time. The amount of hours that people save a week from a bridge, okay? So there's a lot of ways to be an entrepreneur. Now, this playlist is not for people who don't have a vision in life and just want to quit their job because they hate it and retire by collecting dividends from some lame ETF, usually an index fund, because they're so sick of corporate America and want to do whatever they want. Okay? I say the traits generally include unproductive and wasteful. They hate reality. They love to escape. They almost are always talking about entertainment. They never bloom where they're planted, so they never see opportunity right in front of them. And I say it that they've already lost in life. Okay? I'm not referring to retirees. Someone who has worked for 30 or 40 years and is trying to retire, or 50 years, or 60 years, and they're retiring because of their health, or they're retiring because they just don't have the energy to keep up with things anymore, I fully understand. But someone who just doesn't want to work, who just wants to consume entertainment, or read blog posts, or it could be that all day long, those people have already lost in life. They will never understand investing. They will never understand entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is about creating wealth for others. It's about learning to get feedback from the marketplace. And in order to do that, you can't escape. George Soros says it best. He's talking about in that new paradigm for financial markets, he says most Americans want to escape into entertainment. But if you continue to avoid reality, it will catch up with you. Reality is harder, right? You can have a great product and great intentions. The market doesn't care. It's about results. You have to show the market that you're marketing to. You have to show them that it gets results. Otherwise, they're not going to buy into it. Okay. So, I don't care about this group of people. This group of people, I will make the list as hostile as possible to them. If you're looking for, hey, what index fund should I buy to retire really fast so I don't have to go to corporate America? Yeah, you're not going to be welcome on this group. That's all there is to it. This playlist is going to be very hostile to your mentality. The purpose of investing is to learn entrepreneurship. It's the quickest way, the most effective way. And if you want to build a physical product like myself that saves consumers a lot of money, investing will teach you a lot, because you're going to learn really quickly what the market says yes, what the market says no, and how to learn to maintain focus even when things are going up and down.